Hey, everyone who's joining live or in the recording. If you're joining the recording, you should probably want to skip to minute 5 or 10 after we officially start. And if you're joining me live, yeah, let's get this going. Let's see if people are joining us today. And if you're joining me live, let me know where you're joining us from. I'll wait a minute or two for people to join and then we'll get started. Amelia from Australia, nice. How things are going in Australia right now? Are you still in a lockdown and craziness? Rolf, live from Maryland, USA. Good to see you here, Rolf. Neil, Birmingham, UK. Sorry for butchering names, guys. Jeff from Washington, nice. Omar, nice to see you. Angelo from Atlanta, nice to see you, Angelo, as well. All right, let's give it a minute or two and see how many people join us. If there's not going to be a lot of people, I'll just open it up for Q&A. Media blowing it out of proportion. They always do it, aren't they? Yeah, frustrating. So it's good to hear that everything is fine, at least better than the TV make it sound like. TV always like to make things sounds like the world is about to collapse, huh? I'm gonna take this off. Hello, Sven. All right. How many people we have here? Cool. What else, guys? What else be going on? Where are you joining us from? Let me know, please, if it's the first time or that you can like join in one of those webinars, or you're already been part of those, because I see some familiar names. Wales, UK, good stuff. But if you're new to those webinars, just can you please let me know, or just raise your hand or something like that, so I'll know how many people are kind of like new to acquisitions versus not, or new to us in general, and just join us. First time here as a new member. Okay, cool, Jeff, good stuff. Second time for me. All right, so I'll just go through few quick notes about kind of like just acquisitions in general, why I like this space of acquisitions, and then I'll open it up for Q&A, and we'll just love your content. First time Q&A. Thank you, I appreciate it. Been on a few calls with you, very helpful from Boston. Good stuff, Sven. Awesome. Second time for me as well. All right, cool. So I'll try to share my iPad today. I'll just paint, draw, try to add as much value as I can. Then in the end, I'll open it up for Q&A and we'll get it going. iPad via cable. Let me just see if I can share my screen. No. Oops. 1 second. Just trying to make sure I'm sharing this. All right, there you go. Now I can see. Can you give me a thumbs up or something in the chat if you can see the screen? If you can see this question mark. Just let me know in the chat just if you can see it, and then we'll get started. Yes, you do. Okay, cool. Thank you. Thank you. I appreciate it. All right. So, so welcome to this acquisitions.com call. That was supposed to be connected to this. 1 second. Let's see it. Yeah, sweet. That's what you need to see, the question mark. All right, guys. So my goal for you today is to show you that it's possible to buy businesses. Right? I want to show you that it's possible. Now, here's the thing. A lot of people have a few different limiting beliefs when it comes down to, or just challenges when it comes down to buying businesses, right? So the first one usually is money. Where do I find the money to buy businesses? Come on. iPad, give me a favor. Give me a second, guys. Microphone. I'll just do it this way. Microphone. All right. Sorry, guys. Yeah, speaker to airport. Sound. This is what I'm trying to do, guys. Speaker to airport. Okay, cool. I think we should be good to go now. All right, cool, guys. So here are some of the challenges that I see people are having when it comes to buy businesses, right? They feel like, okay, I don't have the money, right? Where do I find the money to buy businesses? Money is key. I've been looking into that and I have a few questions when ready. Cool. Yeah, we'll open some questions up in the end. I'll just go through a few quick notes and then we'll open up for questions. So money, second one is usually time, right? Where do I find the time? And also everyone is getting busier right now, right? Everyone have different priorities. With money, I can tell you it's actually more abundant now than ever. Like there's more money out there looking for good deals and people than ever before, probably. So that's something good. With time, I believe it comes down to priorities, right? So if you don't have time to do things, I would ask you, like, what are your priorities, right? Money is actually more abundant than ever. The biggest problem actually usually comes down to belief, right? Most people, even if they think they might find money and might find the time, is like, if you don't believe it can work, it usually won't work, right? And in the end of the day, if you really want to build massive wealth when it comes to acquisitions, like you got to have the belief, and belief to get the belief if you never did it before is difficult. And one of the things I'm trying to do with all this training is to transfer you some of the beliefs that I have when it comes to this world of acquisitions. Because I mean, in the last 3 years, like heck, just now we just finished a team call, and I just heard about a guy in Australia who's like, what is this, like a student or something, or super young? I don't remember the exact details, but he's like super young, who is closing on a deal right now on a 20-something million business, using none of his own money, raising capital without signing personal guarantees, getting he's a student. Thank you, Angela, in the chat. So he's a student, 20-something million a year, or purchase price business, getting the seller to sign his personal guarantees. And I mean, when I'm hearing stories like that, I'm like, oh my God. And obviously the person don't have any experience running a business like that, right? Or ever had a business like that. He's just a student. Right, so it's pretty fascinating to see that. And in the last 3 years alone, we saw 100+ transactions like that in dozens of industries, tons of countries. Like I think like 7, 8, 9 countries, something like that, that we've seen acquisitions. I'm talking like countries like Latvia and Colombia, and obviously the big ones like US, UK, Canada, Australia. There are many ones, but we have like also crazy countries. Like we have a guy in originally from Nigeria, living in Ukraine, who bought a multi-million-dollar business in the US. So I just want to show you that it is possible if you have the belief. So you need to ask yourself, do you have the belief? And if you don't, why you don't have the belief? Right? Belief, confidence, those are probably the most important things when it comes down to getting these things really done. Now, hopefully you all know, like, guys, the biggest businesses in the world, that's what they're doing to grow their wealth, right? It's pretty much like the black box of the truly wealthiest people in the world, right? That's what they're doing. Like, if you're looking at the biggest companies, like even if you go out there and search for companies like Microsoft or Apple or Facebook, Google, like most people don't know, but Google is Google mostly because of acquisitions. How Google is making most of their money, they're making money from ads, and their ads is basically a company that they bought and renamed to be Google AdSense, right? So it's pretty fascinating. And the more I'm building, and we're building this community of acquisitions.com, we have thousands of people in our community right now. People are looking to buy businesses, invest in businesses, find businesses as scouts, or invest businesses as passive investors. The more I see that what we're trying to build there can really be magnificent long-term, and can really help you guys win long-term. So I see a lot of public companies out there, and in the past, I talked about a few famous ones, not famous, but like few ones that I really liked and reverse engineered the process. There's a company by the name of WPP. There's a company by the name of XPO. And I like to talk about those examples because WPP is a marketing company that pretty much, they're making like I think like 10 plus billion a year in revenues. Same with XPO, they're in the trucking space. And the beauty is that I can take people like you guys who never had a business before, get you to a point where you can buy one of those marketing companies. Let's say if you can buy a business doing between 5 to 10 million a year, right? And if I helped you buy that business, no money down, or if I invested in the deal with our fund that we're launching and partner with you on this deal, right? Or if you bought a trucking company like Borislav that we helped buy a business doing 13 million a year, and you use none of your own money or used other people's money, guess what? Our goal is to then build something like XPO or build something like WPP, because WPP and XPO, those are companies doing like, again, like 10 plus billion a year, right? A year. And all they're doing, just to open your eyes to what's possible, guys, they're literally just buying more marketing companies and more trucking companies at that size or bigger. Now, imagine what we could do with a community that is thinking the same, that have similar goals, that want to then just buy more of those companies. And the reason for you to join us on a roll-up like that is because if you're buying one company, your value will be maybe at 2 or 3 times X on your profits. If you join us for a group that have, let's say, thousands of those marketing companies, the same value of your one company will now be worth at least 6 to 10 times, especially if we're becoming a public company. And when I'm seeing each and every one of you guys, I see someone that can go out there, buy a company that's doing 5 to 10 million with our help, get value of 2 to 3x, but then by joining us in a group can be valued at 6 to 10x. So the same business. And of course, nothing can stop you to, like, I'm not going to be the person to stop you to go out and buy 50, 30 more companies yourself. So I just want to open your eyes to what's possible and how you can be part of something so massive, and why I'm doing what I'm doing in acquisitions.com. So we're building everything from a system to help people buy their first business, to the system of helping to invest in someone's first acquisition, to also building systems and processes to close deals, to have all the legal accounting support they need, the capital partners they need, and of course the process is to grow those businesses after they buy the businesses, right? Because, you know, when you buy the business, cool, that's important, but I mean, in the end of the day, to operate the business is as important. You want to make sure you're buying a business and you're at least not destroying it, right? And hopefully you're growing it and making more profits. How you're making the money, man, when you're buying a business? Well, there's a few steps for you where you can take money out of the deal, right? The first one is at closing. So if you raise enough capital, you can take a bonus for yourself. So some kind of an acquisition bonus. Acquisition bonus. It's not very common, but it is possible if you're raising enough capital from other people's money. Then, of course, when you own the business, then you can take an income because you're now the owner. So you can pay yourself an income. You can also distribute dividends. Dividends. It's really weird to write and talk at the same time. So those two, you can make money while you own the business. And then, of course, you can have an exit event. An exit can be an exit to a different company, can be an exit to an individual, can be an exit. IPO is an exit. Exit from responsibilities, that's also somewhat an exit. And that's where you make money. So that's that. I want to go through really quick. Anyone here read the book 4 Hour, sorry, not 4 Hour, Rich Dad Poor Dad? If you did, let me know if you're familiar with this one, right? So let me know if you know what are those. So you have ES, and then you have B, and then you have I. Anyone know what are those? And if you are, let me know in the chat. So E stands for employee, right? S stands for self-employed. What is B? B stands for business, right? And I stands for investor, right? Now, let me know in the chat, where are you at? Are you an employee? Are you ES, B, I? Where are you? And I just want to walk you through kind of like something that really changed my view on business when I realized what's possible with acquisitions. right? So obviously when you're employed, you have a job, right? So you have a job, so you're paid for your time, right? So you get money for your time. It's supposed to be a dollar sign. The challenge here is that it's very difficult to get leverage here, right? So no leverage. Oops, it should be better, look better somehow. Try to find a better one next time. Yeah, let's make it prettier. And by the way, if you want the notes in the end, just message support at Acquisitions, and I'll send you all the notes if that'll be helpful for you. So let's just put X, right? No leverage here. Right, very, very difficult to get leverage here. What about self-employed, right? So here, the difference is that you basically own a job, right? Own a job. So, I mean, you're still getting paid for time, energy, and you still are in stress for a lot of responsibilities, right? So it's still a very risky road. And still your energy and time is what creates money for you, right? So it's kind of like still energy plus time equal the dollars. So same here. I mean, you're not really leveraged here. Very difficult, right? Let's go to the next one. Actually, let's start with investors, right? So what is investors? What is being an investor? Investor is when money works for you. Right? The thing is that to be an investor, I mean, it depends on where you're at in life, but it's kind of like you need money to make money, right? It's very hard to start here. That's what I would say, right? Unless you know a few tricks like OPM. So do you know what is OPM, right? Do you know that you can leverage OPM to become an investor potentially right away? So investor, it's leveraged, but it's a bit tricky. So let's talk about business. What is being a business owner then? What's the difference between self-employed and business owners? The way that I see that is when you have a business, you have systems, right? And you have team that do a lot of the work. So you're paid at this quadrant for the value of your team and systems, right? So you can take, you can leave for 2 weeks or 2 months and the business will still grow with you or without you. So it's basically here where your team plus systems create value and money, right? So what most people in this world are trying to do, right? They're trying to start here. They're trying to start as an employee, right? Everyone kind of like starts here. Then they're like, here, they're like, okay, I don't want to work for someone else. Let's be my own boss. And then what they're doing, they're like, okay, cool. Let's start a business. Let's sell something. Let's find product. What's the beauty in acquisitions, guys? Why I fell in love with this world of acquisitions is because I realized after doing a deal that you can basically start here. You can literally skip the startup phase. So this is kind of like a startup. The left side is kind of like a startup, no leverage, but this side, guys, that's where you get leverage. This is where you build wealth. You want to build wealth, you got to do it from here. It's very, very difficult to do it as an employee or even as self-employed. Self-employed is probably even more of a golden handcuffs than employee, to be honest, unless you know how to scale things. Employee, I mean, if you're getting incentivized as the business grow, like if you look at what's the guy that was to be the CEO of Microsoft, Steve Ballmer, is he still the CEO? I don't think so, but that guy became a multi-billionaire starting as an employee, right? But he added so much value to the business that he basically became the face and the front of the business. Yeah, and everyone on the left, I agree, works for the people on the right. Now, the beauty with acquisition is that if you learn few skill sets, you can really jump into those quadrants right away. So instead of going through 1, 2, you basically start here. You can start, this can be your first step. And then I'm sharing with you stories of people who are students who literally buying their first business while being students. I'm talking like 20 million plus business, guys. 90, I don't know if you guys understand it, but 99% of businesses fail in the first 5 years. So what we're doing with acquisitions, we basically skip those years. And we basically say, hey, we're only going to talk to businesses that already exist for 5+ years. And we're going to try to buy those businesses from business owners who are motivated to sell. And you might ask, why would someone sell me their business? Well, I can get to it in a second, right? But what's the traditional way? Traditional way. All right, what is it? It's come up with a great idea. Great idea. Right, and what is even a great idea that you can't even execute on? Right? I've seen so many people write complicated business plans, right? Write business plan. Create a product or a service. And when you're creating a product or a service, how do you even know if there is even a demand for this product or service? Right? What you're going to do is you're going to probably order a lot of your products and hope that someone's going to buy them, or try to sell some kind of a service before there's a demand. It's like, okay, go to the market and try to sell. When we go to acquisitions, we go immediately to companies that already have proven products, right? Already have proven testimonials. You don't need to write a business plan. You already go to a business that's already proven. That's the best plan, right? The plan is actually executed well. You don't need to come up with any idea because someone already went through all the struggle of coming up with the idea. Do you guys understand how you're overcoming some of those super challenging moments? What about hiring? Like hiring staff, right? Anyone here ever try to recruit people to his company from scratch? How challenging that is to find the right people, right? When you buy a business, you already have team members that some of them work for those businesses for 5, 10, 20+ years, right? I'm not even talking about figuring out how to operate. Through trial and error. Anyone here ever started from scratch? What is it? It's pretty much everything trial and error, right? When you're going out there and you buy business, everything's proven. I'm not even talking, guys, there's so many, I don't want to waste all the call on that, but cash flow, how difficult that is to come up or to make any sales from scratch or become profitable, guys. Most startups are never profitable. Like there's a reason that most startups fail and most companies never have more than one employee, right? So what we're doing is basically, if you imagine like some kind of a graph, you have a startup zone, right? So you kind of like the startup zone, which is kind of like the beginning. And what we're doing, we basically go more like this or more like this, right? So it's more like this area. And this is the acquisitions zone. This graph could probably look better, but we're going to companies that either hit some kind of a plateau or slowly growing. Those are the companies that are the best for us. And those are the companies we want to buy, companies that already skipped through all this struggle, all those first years of struggle. Right? And the same graph, the graph when it comes to profits, imagine if this is the graph, guys, profit graph looks like this usually in a startup, right? So the first few years, companies are losing money, like business owners are not taking dollars in the beginning because you just need to deploy capital just to come up with new ideas and, kind of like make things work. And right now, hopefully you guys understand, but we are witnessing the greatest wealth transfer in human history right now, right? Governments are printing money more than ever. There's more money out there looking for deals than ever before. Baby boomers, there are right now, guys, 10,000 people in the US alone turn 65 years old every single day, right? 71 million baby boomers will retire in the next 10 years. So if you don't think that this is an opportunity, the fact that all this, plus the fact that there's more money in circulation right now, more dollars, more governments like printing money more than ever before. Like, combine those two things together and you got the opportunity of a lifetime. And if you're not gonna make the most out of it in the next decade, like you're just missing out on things. Right? You know, like so many business owners are gonna change hands in the next decade. So I really want you to really open your eyes to what's possible and to the fact that people are out there buying those companies every single day. And I don't care if you want to buy a business for, you know, for lifestyle and freedom and you know, just have a 4-hour work week vibe. One deal can get you there. And I don't care if you want to be a one that's going to say, you know what, I'm going to build an empire. I'm going to buy as many of those companies as possible. I'm going to do a roll up, which is basically buying few companies in one sector. Right? Either is fine. So either if your goal is this or that, you need to start with one company. Right? If your goal is to skip one of those quadrants into business or an investor, you got to do that. And this is the best opportunity to get started with. You can go and start and try a startup, but it's just gonna be very, very challenging. So this is what's up. I think you should all, I suggest to all of you guys to ask yourself, why are you doing this? Why acquisitions is exciting for you? What are you trying to achieve? Is it wealth? Is it more time? You know, what is it for you guys? Why are you doing this? Is it freedom? Right? Is it fulfillment? What is it? Maybe it's the ability to play with the big guys. Right? Maybe you don't want to settle for mediocrity. Right? Legacy, impact. What is it for you? Because I think it's really important to ask yourself, guys, maybe just the idea of giving back, right? And I'm asking you those questions, and I think it's really important for you to get focused on that, because unless you're focused on what you want and why you want that, it's going to be very difficult for you to wake up every morning and be super committed to it. Because in the end of the day, if you're going to keep doing the same actions you took so far, you're just going to get the same results, right? So start to think, what's your dream look like? Where do you want to be 1, 3, 10 years from now? Where do you want to live? Car do you want to drive? Who do you want to spend time with? What company do you want to own? Where do you want to take vacations? Do you even care about vacations? Or maybe you just want to build something big. What do you no longer have to do or want to do? Right? And I can tell you for a fact that it's going to require commitment. It's going to require for you to push through discomfort. It's going to require for you to be coachable if it's going to listen to us or anyone else out there that's been there and done that. But you got to really understand that, you know, most people out there are living paycheck to paycheck. And for you to really step outside of that, like, you got to change things, right? And you need to ask yourself, are you willing to settle for, you know, staying comfortable, or you just want more? Right? So anyway, guys, hopefully that opened your eyes a little bit, and it maybe for those of you who are already aware of acquisitions, maybe put some fire in you to stay focused. And with that being said, I just want to open it up for Q&A right now and just answer questions on anything that I talked about so far, or just anything you have and want to discuss. And also, yeah, for those of you, I'll just share my screen again real quick. For those of you who never had a conversation with us with acquisitions.com, just make sure I'm sharing my screen there. Share my iPad screen. I want to make sure that you also are getting invited to jump on a call with me and my team. So acquisitions, for those of you who never talked to me or my team yet, I suggest you to go right now to acquisitions.com/apply, book a call with me or my team. Let's have a conversation. Let's find out where you're at right now. Let's see where you want to be. It's the kind of your goal. Let's find out what's that gap to get you there. And if we can help you, kind of bridge that gap, we'll tell you what it looks like to work with us. And if we can't, we'll just send you over to someone else to help you. But if you're on the call with me today and you never talk to us, just go and do that right now. Book a call. It's a free call, 30 minutes. We're not going to sell you anything on this call. We're just going to try to figure out where you're at, what you want to do, and see if we can even help you at all in the process. So with that being said, now I'm going to answer questions. So just post in the chat and I'll go through them one by one. Okay, cool. I see. Viresh, good stuff. I want to play with the big guys and build a legacy. Yeah, Blair. So for those of you who want to join our scouts, just join our Facebook group, Business Buying Scouts. I think that the next scouts call is next week. So yeah, make sure you join that group and go through the video in there that we did last time to go through the details. But yeah, definitely. I mean, I have people already sending us deals and we're starting to look at that. Actually, some really, really interesting deals are coming from scouts. Like we have a guy who want to send over like 6 companies in a specific sector that they want to merge and roll up, and he got like 50 other companies in his pipeline in the marketing space. So that's very, very interesting. And we have some other really, really interesting that we're looking into right now. And yeah, next week we're going to do another scout call. And yeah, so the way it's going to look like, guys, we have every month we're going to do one scout call already done. So we have basically people who want to be scouts, and we have people who want to be CEOs, and then we have people who just want to be investors. So every month we're going to have one call for investors, one call for scouts, and 2 calls for CEOs. Today is basically a CEO call. So if people want to buy businesses and lead an acquisition themselves and do a roll-up themselves. Some people just want to be a scout and send basically deals for a percentage. Right, so they want to take a percentage of just being a referral, basically. And it depends on what kind of referral we'll be able to do. So if we're going to buy the business ourselves with our fund, then we promise at least $100,000 in fee. If we'll only be able to refer to someone else, then we'll just discuss what that looks like on a deal-by-deal basis. And of course, any scout who send us deals, we're signing an agreement with them. CEOs, so let's start with investors. And investors are people who want to invest in private equity deals, invest in deals. And we're also going to do one call a week. So those people who want to invest basically in return for equity in businesses. So those are at this point just accredited investors. So we're doing one call a month as well. We did one last week actually, and we presented the deal that some people might or might not invest in. And if there's enough people that are interested in investing in the deal and we like the deal, then we'll invest in it and partner with our CEO. Right, so CEOs are people who are joining usually our accelerator. Right? And then we coach them through the process of what it looks like to find deals, to analyze deals, to negotiate deals, to come to the best deal structures, to have a plan to grow the business, right? To learn how to pitch deals. And then to join our accelerator, to be a CEO, you need to go to acquisitions.com for the supply. So again, if you didn't go through this yet, go through this, guys. Book a call with us. So twice a month, we'll do a call for CEOs, which is basically just talking more about the idea of acquisitions and what it's like to do acquisitions, why acquisitions, and everything that's related to acquisitions in general. Basically, whatever topic I have in mind, I'll just go through that. Scouts is to help people just with the process of finding a deal, and that's a free program. And our investors club is also free for right now for accredited investors, which basically they giving you guys the opportunity to invest in deal flow, in great deal flow that we have access to in acquisitions.com. So that's pretty much what we're doing here at acquisitions.com. And our goal is, of course, to support all of our CEOs after post-acquisitions as well. So that being said, I'll go back to the chat and see if you guys have any questions. So then he's asking, to make my first deal, should I have a master plan with a narrow focus, or should I be more opportunistic about grabbing good deals as they come along? It's a good question. I mean, I think it really depends on you. I don't know you enough, but I can tell you that that's part of the best thing of working with our accelerator process, that there's a deep dive process of finding out what is the best sector for you. And there's just constant accountability and support to make sure that you're picking the best sector for you. I think that being sector agnostic can also work, but I think that if you can find one sector that you can master and be the best in the world at, it's always better. Because any new sector that you're going to work at, you're going to have a new learning curve you need to go through. And you need to understand that every sector got almost like their own lingo. Like if you're going out there and try to buy HVAC companies versus if you're going to try to buy SaaS companies, like software as a service companies, you're going to talk to completely different people, have completely, literally like a different language that those business owners are talking. Like if you're going to buy SaaS companies, software as a service companies, for example, you have terms like ARR and MRR and churn and different terms that in HVAC, like people will look at you like an alien if you talk to them about those terms. But for SaaS owners, it's like you're an alien and you don't understand their sector if you don't know those terms. And that's what it's going to feel like in every sector that you're going to try to look into from scratch. You're going to have a different learning curve to understand and learn the sector. At the same time, I think that if that's what's going to help you to stop procrastinating and just do a first deal, that's also, I think, very important. So that's why I'm saying that whatever you're going through right now, I think it's really, I mean, it's a situation that I can support more if I knew you personally and if you just went through a full accelerator process. What else, guys? Do you recommend lining up funding before finding the company to buy, or line up company first, then line up funding? I think that before you have a company, you don't know how much funding you need, right? So I think having a deal is definitely very important to have, because if I'm an investor looking to invest in you, I'm not going to give you money until I know what's the deal. Right? I'm not going to throw money on you unless I know you personally. For some reason, I trust you. Otherwise, I want to know what is the deal, if the deal is good enough. Cool. So I think with that being said, we could probably end the call today. So hopefully you guys enjoyed it and got some value today. Again, if you didn't book a call with us yet, I suggest you to book a call with us. If you have any questions, or if you want to get access to the notes from today, email support@acquisitions.com. And yeah, we'll support you in the process. Where do you find funding? Nazal, good question. That's probably a full long another session that we need to do, but I would say if you didn't go through some of my YouTube videos, start with those. You can just search for my name on YouTube. Otherwise, I'll try to cover more of that in future webinars that we're doing. We're going to be here every week, either on a Scout program, Investors Club, or CEOs webinars. And I'll definitely talk more about funding in the future. I talked about funding in the past. So you can definitely go to my YouTube channel and go through some previous webinars that I've done. With that being said, guys, I hope you all have a great week, and I'll see you next week. For those of you who are joining us on the Scouts program, otherwise, yeah, book a call with us. Let's see if we can help you, and hope you have a great week and you go out there and do some deals. I appreciate you all. Have a good one.